If you want to raise a kind child, but your child does the opposite of kindness, and then that's the $1 million question that's been dancing in your head. How do I raise a kind person when my daughter is definitely not kind with sister, definitely not kind with the dog, definitely not kind with me? So if that's your question, stay, because this podcast episode is how to teach kids to be kind based on brain science. So this episode is based on brain science, and I'm going to quote the work of Dr. Daniel Siegel. He is a researcher in the topic of brain science, nervous system regulation, and parenting as well. But before we go there, welcome to another episode of the Parenting with Understanding podcast. This is your host, Marcela Collier, and I am a certified parenting coach, head coach of HIC Parenting Education Agency, and my team of coaches and I have the mission to help parents stop reactivity and parent their children with peace. If you've been listening to the Parenting with Understanding podcast for a while, would you give us a positive review? That's a positive sign that you like our podcast if you keep coming back. So open the description of this episode and write a 5-star review, hopefully, and that will help us so much get to other parents who need this message. Okay, how do I raise a kind child when my child definitely doesn't show any signs of kindness? Any signs of kindness. So, kindness has two ways: kindness towards ourselves and kindness towards others. And I have something that for sure by now you might know. When we learn to be kind to ourselves, we can be kind to others. But when we are harsh with ourselves, it's hard to be kind to others. So when it comes to teaching children how to be kind, the very first thing that needs to pop up for us is, how do I raise a child who is kind to herself, who is kind to himself? So there is a parent with a 6-year old that homework time was a struggle. And the child refused homework as if she was trying to run away from something that was really, really bad. It was tantrums. It was that I'm not doing this. And it was because she was stuck on, I don't get math. Math is not for me. And going a little bit deeper on the self talk, she was beating herself up. The 6-year old was beating herself up. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I don't get this. She used to compare herself with her brother's progress because it seemed like the brother got the math problems no problem right away. He's older, so the math that she was reviewing in first grade was a piece of cake for him, and he let her know too. So this child was creating negative self-talk and a negative self-perception of her and learning. She connected learning with, I am stupid, I am bad at this, I am a dummy. Because of this negative self talk, she sabotaged herself, and then now she was getting bad grades, she was getting school reports, she was not turning in her homework. We are the product of our belief system. Our beliefs create our feelings, and our feelings create our reality. So she was subconsciously creating a reality that was supporting the feelings, the beliefs that she already had of, I am a dummy, I am stupid, I am bad. So, how do we help this child move towards kindness? How do we help this child be kind to herself? The answer, according to the work of Dr. Daniel Siegel, is Mindsight. Mindsight is understanding our own mind so we can understand somebody else's mind. And there are many things, there are many thoughts and beliefs that we have in our minds. So the difference between thoughts and beliefs is that a belief is a rooted thought about self or about others' self. That's a belief. A thought, it could be anything that goes through our head, such as, oh, this math problem is so hard, or such as, oh, I need to go grocery shopping tomorrow. That's a thought. Thoughts themselves don't create a reality, but the more crucial ones are the beliefs, because beliefs to create a sense of self, a sense of who the other person is, and from these we create a reality. Why is this important when it comes to raising kids who don't hit the dog or who are kind to others? Because self perception plays a big part on how you present to others. So let's go back to this child. She was not turning in homework. She was being defined at school, getting disruptive. When it was time to complete a task in the classroom, she used to get up and wander around and not be very receptive to the lesson, all because she had the self belief of, I am a dummy, I'm stupid, I cannot learn. So, do you see how children's outer behaviors could really much determine, be determined by the beliefs they have about self? I don't want to deviate too much about from this topic of how to help our kids to be kind. This is going to be the topic of another podcast, but for us parents is the same. What we believe is what creates our reality. So if we believe we are not good enough as parents, we create a reality where nothing is enough. And we fill our calendar, we overschedule ourselves, we fill our calendar with yeses, trying to fill that void, because we cannot make everything happen and everything is spilling out of our hands, hard to juggle everything. Then the reality we are creating is subconsciously confirming the already belief of we are not enough. So do you see how one thing takes to the other? And how I said we can review these in another time when it comes to the beliefs that we have as parents. But let's go back to the kids. Let's go back to the kids. So Mindsight would help this child. Actually, Mindsight helped this child move away from negative self talk, tap into more expansive beliefs about self, so she could get over the struggle at school. How did we do that? So her parent came to coaching in HIC parenting, looking for solutions to get her child to be more responsible, to stay on task in the class. And in coaching, she discovered that all traced back to the beliefs this child had about herself regarding the topic of learning. So we train this parent in working on helping her child seeing other parts of her self perception. The only thing that this child had the focus on was on, I believe I'm stupid, I believe I'm dummy, I believe I can't, and I'm incapable. But this child had many other things part of her self perception that she was ignoring. So, according to Dr. Daniel Siegel, there is something called the wheel of awareness. So, what is the wheel of awareness? So, just imagine a tire, a wheel, a bicycle wheel. In the very center, you have your hub, or you have your self that reflects every part of your self perception. So this child's self-perception, part of her self-perception was, I'm stupid, I'm dummy, and I'm capable. And she was ignoring other parts of her self-perception. So the parent used this wheel of awareness to bring the child back to understanding other parts of her self-perception. Remember that day when you got that spelling bee test right? Yeah. How how did you feel? I felt proud. What did you believe about yourself? That I'm intelligent. Okay. So that was another part of this child's sort of perception that she was ignoring during math. What else? So with this exercise, the parent helped the child see that she part of her self-perception was as well that she was resilient, that she was smart, that she was curious, that she was creative, that she was capable. So this parent helped the child create her entire wheel of awareness, not just focus on one thing, which she was, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I cannot get math right. The child was able to go to the hub, which was the center of the wheel, and see all parts of her self perception, including the negative ones, all of them. And then, what is mindsight? Mindsight is the ability of seeing into someone else's mind. And this is an exercise I encourage you to do the wheel of awareness with your kids if they're stuck on not being kind towards themselves. So, the mother help this child shift her focus from parts of her self perception that are a lot more expansive and productive that will help her eventually overcome her math struggles, such as I'm intelligent, I'm capable, I'm creative, and I'm resilient. Hmm. So, from this part of you who believes you are capable, resilient, intelligent, creative, how can we solve the other one? How can we solve the math problem, the math challenge? And with the child, they created a plan to make math a lot more palatable. Is that the right pronunciation? A lot easier for her through creativity. They designed math to be engaging and creative using the things that she was already into, which she was cooking. The child loved baking with mommy. So while they were baking and making cookies, they were working on their math because this child learned to go to the hub and see other parts of her self perception that she was ignoring. This child started being a lot more kind to herself, and then she started excelling at math. Right now, she's not this, number one mathematician, of course, because if it's not your nature, how would I say? If it's not your natural ability, it's okay. But she's on task. The mom stopped having school reports. She's turning in homework. And more importantly, when she feels stuck, instead of being drowning in her self perception of I'm dumb, she's now able to tap into her resilient part of self and ask for help. So, do you see how we can help our children tap into mindsight? Will help them create a more kind self narrative. And in response to that, they become a lot more efficient in other areas of their lives. It solves behavioral problems. So, if you have a child who's stuck on something, maybe at school, maybe at bedtime, maybe integrating themselves with peers, anything, think, is there any any part of their self-perception that is playing a part on them being successful at this specific thing? Is it part of their self perception that is impairing them to be successful at this very specific task? So, Marcela, but how do I teach them to be kind to others? This is going to be part of next week's class as well. But I'm going to walk you a little bit through this because it's basically part of the same thing but applied to other people. So let's just imagine a child who comes to the parent crying and complaining. I don't like my brother. I don't like him. I don't want him to be my brother. Can you change him? What would you do there? So most parents would be really stuck on just addressing the superficial things that they see, which is the child's wording and how the child refers to brother, and try to fix it with things such as, no, you do love your brother. He is your brother. You don't have any more siblings. Siblings love each other. So we may tend to fall into that, but that would not solve anything regarding of the perception that this child has about brother. We cannot force our perception about our children into our children. We cannot transfer beliefs or perceptions. They need to form it themselves, right? As much as I don't want to get into politics, but if you are democratic, as much as the Republicans tell you that they're okay, you might not believe it, and vice versa. You need to create your own perception about it. You need to create your own perception about it. And this goes as well with the perception that children have about their siblings or other people, including you. So, how do we use the wheel of awareness to help this child be a lot more kind with brother? This child who is now saying, I don't like my brother, he's rude, can you take, or I don't like this baby, can you take him back to the hospital? I don't want to be a big sister. Just imagine that a situation where the child is complaining about a new baby. How do we manage this? It goes down to mindsight, which is seen in the mind of others. So let's go back to the wheel of awareness. Remember that the wheel of awareness, it's like a bicycle wheel, and in the center there is self. Okay, so you say you don't like your brother, you want to take him to the hospital. What happened? You're all the time with your brother and you don't want to play with me. Oh, okay. So you're feeling left out. I understand. So let's put that as part of that wheel. I feel left out. What else? He cries too much. Okay, so you feel annoyed. Let's place that there too in the wheel of awareness. I feel annoyed. I feel left out. And help the child shift towards the more expansive perception, the more positive perception they have about their sibling. Remember when I was pregnant that you were very excited about having a little brother or sister? What was it about it that excited you so much? Because I could play with him. Hmm. Remember yesterday that you were playing peekaboo with the baby and the baby was smiling at you? And then you were cuddling? Oh, yes. So you like playing with your baby sister. So let's put that as part of your wheel of awareness. Remember the other time when you were helping your baby sister walk, or when you were helping your baby, when you were feeding your baby sister? Did you like that moment? So you like interacting with your baby sister. So it's not about denying their complaints is about helping them integrate a full wheel, a complete wheel of awareness about the self, about what is the experience of interacting with that other self, which is baby sister. And from there, you help them see from the hub. Yes, right now you might feel annoyed because baby sister takes up more time. You might feel a little left out because I have to breastfeed. But at the same time, you're having fun when you play peekaboo with baby sister and she smiles at you. And you feel cozy when you cuddle her, right? And you feel happy when she smiles at you. And you feel connected when we are all in the couch enjoying your favorite show and your sister points at it. So, all that is part of your perception about your sister. You can choose to focus on the parts of sister that you like, the part that you like about your sister. If you were to focus on that, what would you do or how would you feel? You see, it's helping children integrate. So let's go back to the initial topic, which is how do I help my children be kind to others? If the behavior is, I don't like my baby sister, take her back to the hospital, I don't like her, she's ugly. It's not about shutting down that, it's about seeing what perception the child has that is creating those kind of expressions and shape it with the will of awareness so the child is able to see everything. So the child is able to express her feelings without her for words. She can say, I feel left out, I feel annoyed, I feel lonely, I feel jealous. All those things are part of the wheel of awareness. And yes, my friend, that is mindsight. But this is the thing, it is so hard to help our children tap into mindsight when our mindsight is wonky. When is our mindsight wonky? When we don't exercise mindsight, when we see those behaviors, those rude behaviors, and we just tend to shut it down with snapping, yelling, warnings, punishment, or spanking. If you want to be a more secure parent, if you want to feel a lot calmer in your parenting and you've tried hard, but it just gets hard sometimes and reactivity gets in the way, I have an invitation for you. I created a free class with a four-step system, the same system that I coach my clients in HIC parenting to stop reactivity, bring peace to your parenting so you can become a secure parent with great mindsight and guide your children through these hard moments instead of shutting them down with reactivity. To access this class, all you have to do is go to my website, hicparenting.com. Yes, hicparenting.com. It's in the description below if you want to go there as well. And then access this class is free and it's going to give you the steps that we do with our parent-centric coaching clients to move away from reactivity so they can parent with peace. So I'm going to give you another tool, another strategy to help your children and to help yourself tap into mindsight. And this is Dr. Daniel Siegel's strategy. He calls it SIFT, sifting through your mindsight, sifting through your children's mindsight. So S is sensations, I is images, F is feelings, and T is thoughts. With the SIFT process, we can create our own state of mind, and that will ultimately influence our children's behaviors and our own behavior as well. Imagine that this is the master key to help our children behave better. Okay, so let's go through the SIFT process. The SIFT process: sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. In this area, in this example of the little kid complaining about baby sister, I don't want her, take her back to the hospital. How can we integrate the SIFT process to help her create a new state of mind? So, S is sensations. Feelings are felt in the body. The thing is, because we didn't have an emotional coach growing up, by default, we learn to logic our emotions instead of feeling our emotions. So with our children, we tend to logic our emotions as well, with such as things like this. Don't be sad. No. Having a new sister is not anything to be sad about. You should be happy that you have a new sister to play with. You are logicking your child's feelings. When feelings are not to be logicked out, that is a very loud plane that is going through. I don't know if you're able to hear it. Feelings are meant to be felt. And that's the S, sensations. What do you sense right now in your body? I can tell that your eyebrows are down and your eyes are open and your eyebrows are down. That's the facial expression of contempt, of anger. Or I could tell that your face is red. You're feeling really agitated. So sensations, what they feel in their body. Why is this so important, Marcela? Why do I need to teach my children about sensations so they can be kind? Because the reason why they go and hit brother is because they don't have body awareness. They feel angry and all of a sudden they're hitting without even thinking about it. So when we teach them body awareness, they can start paying attention to how their body behaves. That's S. I is images. Images. What is an image? What are you seeing in your brain right now? You said that you want to take baby sister back to the hospital. Is that what's in your brain right now? And then help them process that. Let's see that happens. Let's see that happens. What do you think baby sister would feel once we take her back to the hospital and she cannot see us anymore? And you cannot see her anymore. So, and then you go to F, which is naming the feelings. I think what you're feeling is jealous, or you're feeling left out, you're feeling lonely. And then the T, which is thoughts. I see that right now you're thinking it would be better if she were not here. But let's shift that thought. Tell me one thing that you enjoy doing with her. And how can we focus on that thought? So that's the SIFT process: sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. Help them learn the nuances of their feelings. Oh, you look upset. It could be many things. Upset could be that my belly hurts, or it could be that I'm angry. Like, upset is not a feeling, it's a generalization of negative feelings. Help them express the nuanced feelings. Research has shown that just being able to name what you feel helps us calm down 3 times faster. And that goes for children as well. Do you feel jealous? Do you feel scared? Do you feel angry? What do you feel? Okay? Your children don't have to be the victims of their self-perception and the perception they have of others. We can change that through Mindsight. You don't have to be a victim of your own self perception. I'm a failure. I'm not enough. I'm incapable. I can't be a parent. Even especially my neurodivergent clients, when they come new to coaching, I hear that a lot. I feel I cannot be a parent being an autistic person. I feel I cannot be a good parent having ADHD. How can I be a good parent if I have all this trauma? Is that you? Let me know in the comments. What helps you? What will help you be kind to yourself so you can be kind to your kids? Is Mindsight. Let's step into Mindsight for a little bit. If you are able to answer in the comment section, that would be great. I'm going to ask you a few questions. If you can answer in the comment section, let's do it. What is one adorable thing that your child did lately? What is an adorable thing that your child did lately? Well, my son, adorable thing. My sons, both of them. Well, my autistic son, his cuddles and kisses. My neurotypical son, his creativity and he's so, how to say, witty when he talks. Number 2 question. How would you feel if you didn't get to be a parent? That strikes a chord for me because I struggled to have my twins for 7 years. I dealt with infertility. And I don't know. How would I feel if I didn't get to be a parent? I think I would feel empty. Number 3, picture your child at 18 years old leaving your house. What feelings come to you? Picture your child at 18 years old leaving your house. What do you feel? What is that feeling that's coming to you as you picture that? So, as you answer, why did Marcela ask me all these questions if the topic is how do I help my kids to be kind? Because it's simple. When children are struggling to be kind, we need to tap into kindness so we can show them how to be kind. But it's impossible to tap into kindness if we are in negative perceptions about them. They're rude, they're defiant, they're too much, they're disobedient, they're this, they're that. These answers to questions like this will help you go back to your hub and see other parts of self, the other parts of the self-perception that you have about your children. You will see that they are adorable. You will see that they are everything for you. And from that, you will be able to tap into kindness and teach your children kindness. If this podcast episode gave you inspiration, transformation, information, would you share it with a friend right now? Share it with one friend, only one. You will make their day because they will learn how to use Mindsight to raise kind children and to be kind parents. Just stop what you're doing, hit the share button, text it to a friend, copy and share to your social media, to your stories, and let them know that, hey, the Parenting with Understanding podcast is WhatsApp, is the place to come and learn how to be secure parents for our kids. Thank you so much for being with me till the end, and I'll see you next time.